It was a historic event, a fusion of entertainment and technology, where the biggest names from Silicon Valley to Hollywood occupied one platform. The proceedings were telecasted live on television, and viewership ran into millions of viewers from all corners of the world. The environment within the auditorium was charged with blazing LED lights, huge screens floating above, and a 3D audio system that made every heartbeat palpitate. Elon Musk took a seat in the guest chair, relaxed and intent. He wasn't here to put on a show, but to give the audience a glimpse of his own vision for the future of humanity. Not electric cars or AI specifically, but the vision of Mars. They had dubbed him the future builder, and tonight he was bringing that future to the stage. But the host of the show was another legend, Tom Cruise, Hollywood's eternal star, returning with his sci-fi hit Starfall. With a self-assured smile and a piercing stare, he had a strategy: an assault. And tonight on this stage before millions, he would start his demolition of Elon Musk, the man he felt was hogging the limelight that rightfully belonged to him. Before we dive into the tale, say where you're watching from, and don't forget to subscribe so you won't miss the latest tales. The audience cheered when Tom Cruise emerged onto the stage, the light highlighting his black suit. With his trademark smile, he held up a hand to silence the crowd, his gaze sweeping across the room before fixing on Elon Musk. "Ladies and gentlemen," his voice boomed out, as smooth as a film set, "welcome to the X Vision Summit, where giant aspirations are occasionally merely aspiration." The crowd laughed uproariously, the atmosphere erupting. Cruise twirled, jabbing at Musk. "And tonight, we've got Elon Musk, who would like to bring human beings to Mars." Mars, people. I just shot a film about traveling in space, and I'm telling you, it's straight out science fiction. There was laughter again in the room, but now accompanied by murmurs. Musk was seated in the guest chair, hands on knees, staring at Cruise. He took out his phone, fingers dancing over the screen. There was a post on X. "Hollywood tells stories. SpaceX writes history. Watch." The post was viral in seconds with thousands of shares. The viewers started looking into their phone, the mood changing from laughter to curiosity. Cruise, oblivious, continued, "I have a lot of respect for Elon, truly. But Mars, that's a fantasy. SpaceX can launch some rockets, but to send humans to inhabit the red planet. People, I shot Starfall on a set that cost $200 million, and we made the universe more real than what Elon's attempting to accomplish." He shrugged, playing for laughs, but his keen eyes focused on Musk. "Elon, you should make a film with me. At least then the audience would have believed you." The crowd burst into loud laughter, but some grew uncomfortable. Musk walked to the stage, slowly uninvited. Spontaneous applause erupted, with murmurs. Backstage personnel held back, but no one had the courage to stop him. Musk seized an extra microphone, his tone even but incisive. "Tom, I don't produce films. I construct the future. And if you believe Mars is make-believe, let me present reality to you." Musk nodded to the tech team. The giant LED screen behind him flashed on, playing an unreleased video. SpaceX's Starship soaring into the sky, engines on fire, touching down precisely at the test facility. Data flashed on. 12 successful launches, 8 rocket reuses, costs 90% less than NASA's legacy programs. Musk's voice rang out without a touch of braggadocio. "This isn't a movie lot, Tom. This is the beginning of making humanity multiplanetary." The crowd gasped, applause ringing. Some rose to their feet, phones held aloft to take the moment. Cruise finally seemed rattled. He smiled, forcing himself to get back in command. "Very impressive, Elon, but rockets do not translate into building houses on Mars. That's 100 years away, and you know it." Musk leaned his head to one side, a flash of mischief in his eyes. 100 years? Tom, you're outdated. SpaceX will send people to Mars this decade. We're currently developing survival modules, oxygen recycling, and hydroponic farm. Do you want the data? Or are you just accustomed to film scripts? He addressed the crowd. "Who would like to view the actual plan for Mars?" The audience went wild. Chants of Elon. Elon resounding throughout the hall. The screen moved, showing a 3D simulation, a Martian colony with glass domes, robots building, Inhumans laboring in spacesuits. Musk summarized quickly. "This is the design of SpaceX in cooperation with scientists at MIT and NASA. We don't say we will do it." The crowd exploded, their clapping overpowering the sound equipment. Cruise held the microphone. His face turned red. "Okay, Elon, you're great at staging a show, but the public requires inspiration, not graphs. My Starfall inspired millions to dream of the universe. Can you do that?" His voice increased, with desperation creeping in. Musk smiled, showing a touch of sarcasm for the first time. "Inspiration, Tom. I don't sell tickets to movies. I provide humanity with a new world. You inspire for 2 hours in a cinema. I inspire an entire generation to construct the future. He jabbed his finger at the screen where the colony on Mars continued to glow colorfully. It's not CGI. It is real. The audience jumped from their seats, clapping so hard it made a din. Cruz attempted to interrupt. Elon, you are boasting. No one thinks that you can get it done, but his words were lost among the applause. Musk held out a hand to silence, speaking to Cruz himself. Tom, if you don't trust me, I challenge you to ride on Starship, but I warn you, in space, there is no director to rescue you. The audience burst into laughter. This time at Cruz, he stood there, microphone shaking in his hand, his eyes darting between anger and confusion. On social media, posts burst like fireworks. #Cruz, Musk trended, along with memes of Cruz blasting off into space. One viewer commented, Tom thinks he's Maverick. Elon's the one winning the universe. But Cruz wasn't finished. He took a breath, putting on a bizarre smile. Okay, Elon, that was just the opening act. Let's see what you do with Tesla. He winked at the crowd, but his eyes gave away his stress. Tom Cruise stood behind the stage lights, attempting to compose himself after Elon Musk's initial punch. His smile was still breathtaking, yet his hands were gripping the microphone, showing his tension. The X-Vision Summit audience was still abuzz, their phone screens lighting up as they posted Musk's Starship video on X. Whispers filled the auditorium, but Cruz lifted his hand, encouraging the crowd to be silent. What a show, Elon, he replied, his tone suave but infused with sarcasm. But tell me about what the people are really interested in: cars, or rather Tesla's autonomous cars, or should I say an accident waiting to happen? The audience laughed, although less enthusiastically now. Cruz leaned further over the edge of the stage, his gaze fixed on Musk. I've driven for mission, impossible action sequences. I know speed, I know precision, but Elon's vehicle, they're simply self-driving automobile, crashing around and putting people on the sidewalks in harm's way. Hollywood can film next year's automobiles and not require weekly software patches. He glared at the crowd, shrugging. Elon, let me drive your car in your next film. At least I won't generate a traffic backup. There was laughter, but there was skepticism present too. Without hesitation, Musk took the mic, his deep, crisp voice filling the hall. Tom, you're awesome at driving on screen. In real life, though, it's 90% caused by human. My Teslas are reversing that. He waved at the tech crew, and the LED screen behind him came to life with a fresh video. A Tesla Model S moving smoothly through a crowded intersection, dodging obstacles and stopping dead at the red light. Data blinked. Tesla auto drive 40% lower crash risk than human drivers. Data from 10 million test miles. Gasps went up from the audience, many lifting their phones to capture the moment. Musk did not flinch. This is not a movie set, Tom. This is complete self-driving technology tested on actual roads. We don't require stunt doubles. He glares directly at Cruz, his eyes as sharp as a knife. You tell me my cars are unsafe? Let's examine the statistics. Tesla self-driving fatal accidents are 0.01% versus 1.2% for human drivers. Want to debate the facts? Cruz forced a smile, having trouble keeping his edge. Facts. Elon, the public doesn't care about charts. They want feeling. They want safety. Your cars might drive themselves, but they still have glitches, don't they? I read the news. Tesla's crashing into walls, causing chaos. He gestured at Musk, his voice increasing in volume. You can't beat human instinct, Elon. That's why Hollywood always wins. Musk didn't blink. He gestured to the tech team, and the screen changed to a dynamic chart from Grok Shai's AI. The chart compared Tesla self-driving mishaps to human driver mishaps. Punctual figures. Tesla system mishaps, 180,000th mile. Human mishaps, 110th mile. Musk turned to the audience. Safe driving? Who wants it? Tesla or Tom Cruise on mission? Impossible. The room erupted in laughter, applause ringing loud. Cruise clutched the microphone harder, his voice beginning to shake. Elon, you're just covering up. Your cars require updates all the time. Users are lab rats. People don't trust you. But his words were lost in the crowd now, entirely on Musk's side. Someone yelled, "Show us more, Elon." Musk smiled again, this time with a touch of humor. Tom, you want feeling? Let me show you genuine feeling. He touched his phone, and on the screen opened up a window showing a live video. An autonomously moving Tesla on the highway with camera view from within the car. That is my car at present in Los Angeles. No human, no acting, just engineering. The audience went wild, several people getting to their feet and applauding. Cruz backed away, his face going white. That's just a trick, Elon. Your machines will never do what people can. But his words trembled, unconvincing. Musk moved forward, his voice low but commanding. Tom, humans are wonderful, but my machines save lives. You create movies to entertain. I create cars to transform the world. Cruz stood there, the spotlight shining on his strained face. He breathed deeply, forcing a smile. Fine, Elon. Your vehicles are amazing, but what about X? Your disorganized platform. He gestured towards Musk, but his eyes gave away nervousness. The crowd no longer laughed with him. They were anticipating Musk. The lights were still blinding, but Tom Cruise was by himself, his fake smile failing to hide his nervousness. His handheld microphone shuddered minutely, and the audience grew quiet as he breathed deeply in an attempt to collect himself. Quite a show, eh, folks? He stated with his voice lighthearted, though his gaze cut like knives. Elon can get by with rockets and automobiles, but let's discuss where he utterly failed. A disorganized platform full of trash and bogus news. Hollywood has uplifting tales. Your ex only generates controversy. Erratic laughter burst forth, thinner than before. The crowd, now enthralled by Musk, scrolled X on their devices. Some mouthed, "Tom's digging his own grave." Musk sitting, didn't stir, but fingers flew across his screen. Another post was there. "Tom desires to control the narrative. X empowers the truth. Who desires proof?" Shares exploded and the people in the auditorium started cheering, hoping for another blow by Musk. Cruz, unaware of the changed atmosphere, continued. "I produced movies like Starfall to unite people to motivate, but X, it splits us up. People curse. They gossip, and Elon says it's freedom. That is anarchy. I'd prefer standing before a camera than standing behind a podium like that." He indicated toward Musk, his voice triumphing. "Elon, you cannot manipulate X. You're merely worsening the world." Musk, with quiet confidence, walked to the mic, his tone deep but precise. "Tom, you love sharing anecdotes, yet your anecdotes are cut, manufactured, censored. X is where the world gets to share its own story. No director, no script," he indicated, and the LED screen flashed with a dynamic chart produced by Grog's AI. The chart indicated millions of X posts by topic, news, science, art, and debates. A standout figure emerged. 80% of X users feel comfortable expressing themselves versus 50% on other platforms. The crowd gasped, many of them nodding. Musk went on, "Tom, you call X chaos. I call it democracy. People have a right to speak, to debate, to discover the truth. You want to control the story, but I give everyone a voice." He looked out at the crowd who here has posted on X and felt heard. Dozens of hands went up, cheers ringing out. Cruz scoffed, attempting to interrupt. "Democracy, Elon, that's a cop-out. X is teeming with trolls, poisonous rumors. You can't label that progress when people are just screaming at one another." He took a step forward, his voice growing louder. "Hollywood creates dreams. You're merely creating a digital dumpster." Musk didn't blink. He pressed his phone and the screen moved to a video montage. X posts from researchers sharing research, artists sharing work, and everyday folks sharing personal stories. There was one that stood out. A teacher from India posted, "X enables me to share lessons with thousands of students for free." Musk stared directly at Cruz. "This is your trash can, Tom, or a space where individuals meet, learn, and bridge divides." Cruz took a step back, his lips pursed. "That's just a tiny part, Elon. You can't ignore the poisonous content on X. The public requires direction, not chaotic liberty." But his words stumbled, overwhelmed by the roar of the crowd. Musk held up his hand, calling for quiet. "Tom, do you need a guide? That's control. I think people are smart enough to figure out the truth." And to prove it, he pushed another button, and the screen showed a real-time analysis from Grok. False news on X decreased by 30% due to transparent algorithms and feedback from the community. Musk glared at Cruz, his eyes unwavering. "You make films to frame mine. I constructed X to liberate them." Cruz remained standing, red-faced, the microphone falling from his fingers. "Elon, you're merely deflecting. The masses don't require freedom. They require figures like me." But his words were overwhelmed by the audience, now united in their support of Musk. Someone yelled, "X is ours, Tom." Musk walked to the edge of the stage, voice low but resonant. "Tom, you want to be an icon? I don't require the spotlight. I make tools so everybody can be their own icon." He faced the audience. "Who wants to share their story on X today?" Phones went up. Hundreds of new posts blanketing X coming from the auditorium. Cruz walked away, his eyes blazing with rage. "I'm Elon. If you enjoy playing the freedom game, let's discuss personal influence. I'm the American dream, and you're just a weirdo." He gestured towards Musk, but his voice shook. The audience no longer supported him. They were waiting for Musk to wrap it up. Behind the scenes, Cruz's publicity team panicked. "We're losing totally." On X, Gro's analysis clip went viral, captioned, "Tom thinks X is mad. Elon confirms it's the future. Alone on the podium, Tom Cruise's face screwed up in anxiety under the blaze of the bright lights. Still ringing in everyone's ears, the cheers belong now to Elon Musk for having shut Tom up in the debate about X. The microphone in Tom's hand trembled, sweat pounding on his brow, but he gritted out a sharp smile. "You see, folks," he started, his voice lowered with deliberate intent as if playing a film scene. "Elon can talk about rockets, automobiles, or X, but ultimately it's a matter of who inspires the world. I, Tom Cruise, am the American dream. My films have convinced millions of the existence of courage, of hope, and Elon just a quirk with lots of money who tries to be a hero." The crowd had whispered, some laughing, but the atmosphere was different. Cruise's assurance now seemed desperation on X, the number moose gowns which Cruise overpowered with taunting remarks. Tom labels Elon eccentric. Observe him. Musk did not move, but his eyes sparkled with acumen. He quickly typed on his phone, and a new entry was posted. "Tom sells dreams. I construct reality. Who wants the truth about influence?" Shares spiked, and the audience in the auditorium checked. X whispers spreading. Cruise, oblivious to the tide turning against him, continued. "I've stood in front of millions on Top Gun mission. Impossible. I bring emotion, shape culture. Elon, you have money, but you don't have heart. The public loves me because I'm their icon, not some guy who just tweets." He raised his hand as if anticipating applause, but got only faint claps. Musk stood, walking onto the stage with calm but commanding presence. He took the microphone, his voice clear without a trace of boast. "Tom, you speak of feeling. I speak of influence. You produce films for people to imagine. I create technology so they live improved lives." He beckoned and the LED screen came alive with a list. Musk's philanthropic endeavors, providing STEM education to 10,000 students, bringing solar power to devastated areas, and advancing medical research through Neuralink. A notable individual was highlighted. 1 million individuals were impacted directly by my effort. The crowd gasped. Scattered applause grew louder. Musk stared directly at Cruise. "Tom, you claim to be the American dream. I enable people to achieve it. You produce movies. I transform lives." He clicked a button on his phone, and the screen displayed a video. Families getting Tesla solar systems. Kids learning to code through SpaceX scholarships. A mother in the video said, "Elon gave my kid a chance Hollywood could never offer." The audience erupted, many rising to their feet and applauding. Cruise took a step back, his eyes faltering. That's just PR, Elon. The public doesn't care about philanthropy. They need icons. Celebrities. I'm who they look up to." But his tone failed, no longer persuasive. Musk leaned forward, his stare cold. "Icon Tom, if you're an icon, let me introduce the audience to who you truly are." He clicked another button and the screen changed to a document labeled Cruise, The Hidden Truth. The document, compiled by Grok from emails, contracts, and testimonies, exposed Cruise's antics. Last-minute cancellation of film contracts costing small producers millions, not showing up at charity events for being beneath his dignity, and crew member accounts of being yelled at by him. One of Cruise's former employees wrote in the document, "He only cares about his image, not people." Musk turned to Cruise, his tone low but biting. "Tom, you claim to inspire. These are the individuals you've left behind. I don't have to be an icon. I simply have to do what's right." Cruise shook, the microphone dropping to the ground with a clank, resonating through the speakers. "That's a lie. You're defaming me, Elon," he yelled, pointing at Musk, his face red. "I'll sue you for this. You'll pay." But the crowd was no longer with him. Boos echoed, somebody shouting, "Tom, you're finished." Musk waved a hand, asking for silence. "Sue me, Tom. Truth doesn't require a courtroom. It's on the screen and on X." He addressed the crowd. Who needs the truth on real influence? Phones were raised. Thousands of new posts on X by people Musk had enabled. A viral post declared, "Elon doesn't need the spotlight. He's the light for the future." Cruise whipped around, storming off the stage, leaving the microphone on the floor. His PR people scurried after him, whispering in panic, "What now?" But the crowd was indifferent. They were shouting Musk's name, the man who stood in the middle of the stage, lights blinding like a pioneer. He lifted a hand in appreciation, then descended, leaving the auditorium in chaos. The X Vision Summit stage was still aglow, but Tom Cruise was nowhere to be seen, having disappeared behind the scenes, leaving the microphone on the floor. The crowd's cries called out Elon Musk's name, the one who had just concluded the fight with the secret file, revealing Cruise's conduct. The auditorium buzzed with energy, but out on platforms and media outlets, a larger tempest was raging. Millions tuning in live from Los Angeles to London were live tweeting every second, making the face-off a global phenomenon. A brief video clip, Cruise screaming, "I'll sue you," before she ran away, went viral millions of times. Caption, "When Tom thinks he's the star, but Elon is the universe." Users released an influx of memes. Cruise and Mission Impossible with the text, "Impossible mission beat Elon." Hosts did not merely ridicule Cruise, they celebrated Musk with posts such as, "Elon didn't just win, he redefined combat with truth." In the auditorium, the crowd remained stuck to their phones, posting Musk's secret file video. A young SpaceX engineer named Sarah posted from the back row, "I met Tom backstage at an event once. He ignored our tech team. Elon always respects everyone from engineers to staff." Her tweet drew tens of thousands of likes and triggered a bandwagon of approval for Musk by the tech industry. Programmers and researchers on X started to post anecdotal evidence ranging from being inspired by SpaceX to operating Teslas in order to reduce emissions. "Tom makes movies to entertain. Elon makes tech to save the planet," wrote one. In addition to X, mainstream news outlets piled on. CNN posted the title, "Elon Musk beats Tom Cruise in epic stage showdown." The piece painted Musk as a truth hero and presented videos of Starship, Tesla, and the secret file as proof. Fox News applauded. "Musk confirms America requires innovators, not narcissistic stars." The BBC, itself more objective, published, "Cruise set himself up for failure by going up against a relentless opponent such as Musk." Evening News continued playing Cruise's departure with voiceover, "A moment that redefines how we see influence." A surprise player entered the fray. Donald Trump, having served with Musk in his regime, tweeted Elon as the future's builder, Tom Cruise. "Just a washed-up actor. So sad." The post garnered millions of views, further fueling the controversy. Though short, it elicited strong responses from Musk's detractors and Cruise's supporters. One supporter of Cruise posted, "Tom's still a legend. Elon's just a show-off." But they were soon drowned by the pro-Musk tide with posts like, "Trump's right, Elon's real, Tom's fake." Hollywood, normally tight-lipped about scandals, started talking. Keanu Reeves, usually not one to publicly comment, posted a short message, "I respect builders, not destroyers." Elon did the right thing standing up for truth. Keanu's post went viral, getting millions of likes. A veteran director speaking to Variety anonymously stated Cruise always made his ego supreme. Musk simply said what we were afraid to say. Even a B-list actor who had worked with Cruise tweeted, "I witnessed Tom abandoning small projects for being below him. Elon's file is real." Meanwhile, Cruise's publicists had an emergency meeting backstage. "We need to quash this fire," one cried out. Their phones continued to buzz with notification. Fresh posts poured in from ex-Cruise staff, validating the confidential file to disheartened fans. "I used to adore Tom, but he's not the one I imagined." A new subreddit, Ross Cruise Meltdown, gained thousands of members in hours, with threads analyzing Musk's every point. One wrote, "Elon didn't have to scream. He let the truth speak." Social media wasn't merely a war zone. It was the arbiter of destinies. A YouTube clip making up the 4 debate rounds reached 10 million views within hours, titled "Elon Musk Obliterates Tom Cruise." The war over truth. Technologists joined others in praising Musk as the flag bearer of the 21st century. One vlogger wrote, "Tom thought he was an icon, but Elon's the game changer." Even news outlets, once sympathetic to Cruise, admitted Cruise chose the wrong adversary. His PR department attempted to spread rumors that the secret file was a forgery, but no one fell for it. The auditorium grew silent, lights fading as the program went to the next item. But the evening's main event was finished. Tom Cruise, having fled the stage, didn't reappear. Backstage, his PR people congregated in a hot room, phones ringing with X notifications. Elon Musk's incriminating file revealing Cruise's conduct went viral, sending his reputation to the edge. Meanwhile, Musk remained serenely seated at the front row, eyes unwavering, as if he had foreseen everything. Outside, the world continued to buzz. Social media was still on fire. A compilation clip from Cruise's initial jab through the shouting and running away racked up 20 million views on YouTube. Comments poured in, "Tom picked the wrong man to mess with. Elon's a truth machine." Cruise remained quiet meanwhile. One attempt at a press release by his PR folks stating, "The secret file was misinterpreted, just made things worse." A user responded, "If it's wrong, Tom, go back on stage and demonstrate it." "But you're in hiding, aren't you?" The pressure increased, and just 2 days after the event, Cruise's lawyers stated they were dropping a lawsuit against Musk that was never actually filed. Meanwhile, he issued a short, stiltedly worded message on X. "I'm sorry if my behavior caused confusion. I admire Elon's achievement and wish all could look to the future." The post garnered thousands of sarcastic remarks. This type of apology. "Too late, Tom." Big studios from Paramount to Universal started looking over their contracts with Cruise. An insider leaked to Deadline. Tom's conduct tarnished his reputation. Nobody wishes to gamble on a star in decline. As Cruise plunged into crisis, Musk leveraged his triumph to solidify his vision. At SpaceX headquarters in Hawthorne, he staged a surprise press conference saying there's a new milestone on the horizon. Starship will fly its first rough test within 18 months, bringing us one step closer to Mars. The room was filled with applause from engineers, once teased by Cruise as fantasists. Global media gave it extensive coverage with headlines such as Musk shoots for the stars as Cruise free falls. CNN stated, "From the stage to the universe, Elon Musk demonstrates he's an unstoppable leader." That night, Musk went back to SpaceX headquarters where young engineers huddled around a big screen, watching the X Vision Summit video again. Sarah, the engineer who had spoken up on X, came up to thank Musk. "You didn't only stand up for us," she said. "You demonstrated to the world that our work counts." Musk, who is not often seen expressing emotion, nodded. "We don't labor for claps. We labor to rewrite history." The quote went viral and was quoted in thousands of tweets. Elon doesn't crave the limelight. He illuminates the future. The press just kept comparing the two. The New York Times ran an analysis. Cruise stands for Hollywood's glamour, but Musk stands for endless ambition. A late-night TV talk show, often favorable to Cruise, now conceded, Tom put himself on the line, and Elon just gave a nudge. Even Cruise's most loyal fans turned away. One tweeted, "I idolize Tom, but after the secret file, I'm with Elon. He's more authentic." Cruise pulled back entirely, however. He canceled interviews, stayed away from public appearances, and his PR people defaulted to a stay quiet and wrote it out plan. But X did not forget. Tom Cruise, the fellow who attempted to go at Elon and disappeared. Another viral post stated, "Hollywood can script for Tom, but can't script the truth." Hollywood producers started searching for new faces, and Cruise's name disappeared from billboards. In a corner of Los Angeles, Cruise sat in a dark office. The glow of his apology post on his computer screen now lost under millions of comments. He turned it off, looking out the window, knowing the limelight had moved on. Musk, on the other hand, did not need the limelight. He had succeeded not with speeches, but with deeds and honesty. The backlash from the Vision Summit dissolved, but the effects lingered. Tom Cruise, once Hollywood royalty, now lived in secrecy, his reputation shattered by Elon Musk's hidden document. In contrast, Musk stood tall like a beacon, not just beating a star, but restoring belief in truth and innovation. On social media, millions continued sharing the story, making it an icon of the times. One man employing truth to beat stage glamour, Musk continued to pursue his Mars vision, encouraging a new generation to think that the future is not in movie scripts, but in bold steps. This story wasn't just his victory. It was a reminder that anyone can stand up, use truth as a weapon, and make a difference. A former user commented, "Elon taught us, don't be afraid of the limelight, let truth guide the way." The Elon Musk versus Tom Cruise confrontation at the Vision Summit strongly mirrors the values and issues of the present American society, especially the meeting point of truth, individual power, and social media's influence. Cruise in the novel symbolizes Hollywood's glamorous face, where celebrity is frequently based on looks, such as when he boldly proclaimed to be the American dream through movies like Top Gun. Conversely, Musk symbolizes Silicon Valley's innovation spirit through facts, technology, and social media outlets to uphold truth, as evident when he exposed the hidden file, revealing Cruise's reckless ways. This confrontation was not personal. It represented a change in American society from image worship to transparency and actual influence. The rapid online backlash, using hashtags and endorsement by Keanu Reeves, highlights the influence of social media on the manipulation of public opinion, a harsh reality in America where reputations are made or broken in ours. The takeaway from real life in the U.S. is to hold on to truth and practical action above pursuing starry-eyed images, such as Musk leveraging Starship videos and Tesla numbers to debunk Cruise. Use evidence and tangible outcomes when confronted with adversity. Don't be afraid to stand up for your values like Sarah Nowen did by recounting her experience on X, but do so with honesty and openness. Lastly, utilize platforms such as X wisely, since they can be powerful tools to spread truth, but come with need for discernment to prevent futile argument. Hit the subscribe button and turn on notification to catch more moments where truth prevails, such as Elon triumphing over Tom. Thank you for watching, and see you in the next video as we continue to explore the future.